Sabinak and welcome to Rise With Us, our special Rugby League World Cup build-up show. Last week we touched on how the sport of Rugby League began in Fiji in 1992 when Khalid Khmer put together a team of 10, mostly rugby union stars, who represented our country to the World Nissan Sevens in Sydney, Australia. However, upon their return they were banned for life from rugby union and they were instrumental in setting up the first rugby league clubs in Fiji. Tonight we take you on a journey from 1992 to where the sport is today. And in the local competition, one club, the Kaptrack Tigers, who later became the Nandera Panthers, whose ground you see behind me, dominated the local competition.
Myself and whatever, we started at Nandera Panthers.
My elder brother was the manager of the team, and Bulanda Kuitonga, who is still now the coach, was involved, and we were related. And I started to follow the team as the assistant club manager in 1992.
I played first grade for Asiri. The second year was 1993. My uncle, he asked me on Sunday afternoon of the church, he asked me, "Hey, you want to go play rugby league?" I said, "Where?" He said, "We go to Nandera, go stay in some cars and then." I said, "All right," because they're looking for boys to go and play.
1992 was a year that we were at the bottom of the ladder. We decided to do something because there were not enough players in Nandera who was interested to come and play rugby league. So we ended up going to the Tuneta Siri. That's where we recruited Noah and the boys, Meli, Kainrokia, Veramandikintik Laki. They were interested to come and play. By 1993, we were a really strong team.
We play with Pio and they're a very good team, the Bulldogs. They've been smashing all the other teams. Yeah, that was 6 clubs at the time, only 6 clubs at the time. Maybe winning, and we was second best. So we used to play in the finals. We beat them by 1 point.
We won the premiership in 1993, and that was the biggest achievement. We found out there were 2 things that we found out. One was to rely on a Heavenly Father, and 2 was a family-oriented team. And somebody got hurt, everybody got hurt. Somebody cried, everybody cried. If you laugh, everybody laughed. They're happy, we were happy. And it's not only the players that contribute to the team. It was each and every one of the family members who were on the sideline cheering for us.
I kicked a penalty, they got a penalty. Leading 13-12, or I kicked the penalty and make it 14-13. It was right at the end of the 80 minutes mark. I was lining the ball up, I was praying, "Please God help." Something like that. And I stand out and kick it. And it went inside. I said, "Oh."
In 1993, we started winning that time it was called the Winfield Cup. Yeah. And we won the 1993 Winfield Cup. 94, we won in 6 years in a row, actually. It's 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. At that time, money wasn't a problem. We were assisted by the Australian Rugby League in 1992. They poured in a lot of funds so that we are able to attract a lot of rugby union players, and they pay them, I think, $45 a win and $15 a loss. It's like a total of $600 something per game just to play.
Rugby league to me, it suits us Fijians because we are very strong. They're very athletic, and if you watch rugby league, you see that the guys just running up, smashing the other men, and trying to beat them. For us, for Fijians, we are more skillful.
I remember somebody telling me an amazing statistic once, which I really can't remember, but it was something like In rugby union, a player might make 4 tackles in a game or 5. In rugby league, he has to make 30 to 40. So it's 10 times. So a guy, so if you get 7-year-old boys playing rugby league, their tackling is going to improve way out of sight, because you just have to tackle. You can't hide or not tackle, and that's an amazing stat.
We were called rugby solely, which means you're paid to play rugby. And that was one thing that people misunderstood about the sports.
With the Itoke community, playing for the nation was a great thing, was a big thing. It was more than earning money. So when they saw some young people going to play overseas, leaving their provinces, the provincial teams, going to play for provincial teams overseas, they felt there was a show of disloyalty because of the custom and the tradition and it was a change, and it's always very difficult to embrace change. Now that the change has been there with us for a long time, we have embraced it, but more easily now because of the change also of the status of rugby union players, where they also are paid. So the idea or the honor associated with just representing the nation for that has sort of been balanced off by doing well, getting paid, raising our standard of living in the villages.
People should keep an open mind about rugby league here, and it's a pathway to financial, well-being and security for the guys. And, in this day and age now, money talks.
In the mid-1990s, trouble brewed for the sport of rugby league in Australia when media mogul Rupert Murdoch introduced Super League and was at loggerheads with the Australian Rugby League over broadcasting rights. This trouble was also felt here at home when it greatly impacted how the game was run in Fiji.
The Super League, I think, was introduced because of the television deals in Australia. Like most of the professional sports at the time, they had to be linked to one or two of the media magnates, and they were supported like that. So were very closely associated with televisions and television rights. So professionalism always depends on how much revenue you can generate. The only way to really generate good, meaningful revenue is by television.
I remember in 1994, 92, we were with ARL, 93, 94, even 95, the Coca-Cola World Sevens. When we reached the grand final, we were still with ARL, and after that, Super League came in, and it was like it took over like there was nothing available. They had the money, they came in. Not only Fiji, I think Tonga, Samoa, and Papua New Guinea, it really devastated the competition in Australia. It switched the ARL competition into 2. Our administrators at that time switched to Super League, and what happened after that, when they are too divided, without unity, you're not able to provide better development in here for our youth in Fiji, and that's what happened. And in 1996, ARL started the National Rugby League Fiji in Lautoka. So there we had 2 organizations, rugby league organizations here. In Fiji, it's such a small country to have two different competitions, the Super League and of course the ARL.
I was involved initially with the National Rugby League. When Super League came, I felt it was a conflict of interest for me because I I had a lot of loyalty to the original organizers with Bob Abbott and his group in Australia, so I felt that I'd be betraying them if I supported Fiji League in the new organization of Super League. It was then that I stepped down as president, and the new group got going. That young Michael Akoy and George Spade, and that group started to pick it up and move with it.
In 1998, I think it was when the minister, the late Honorable John Tani Kaukimode, talked about the organization and said that we can't have two rugby league administrators here, so we managed to bring together the two. It happened, we lost a few of our administrators in Super League Fiji and some in the National Rugby League Fiji, but Kichwane Botaki was still the chairman at that time. He came in as the chairman of the National Rugby League.
I left in 1998. Yeah, I had been involved then for like 8 years, from about 1990, and 92 it officially started. So, I think that's important too. You got to move on. Other people are younger people, new ideas. You can't think of everything.
In 2001 was the last year that we paid our players. We seized the funding seized from Super League, the funding seized from ARL. We lost a lot of clubs. A lot of clubs who knew that they were not going to be paid. They didn't want to play rugby league. And I said, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. We'll really know who wants to play rugby league, so they know there's no money involved. So what I did at the time was I sat down most of the stakeholders in running the competition here in Fiji, the referees, the club managers, and brought them in as board members. So when we make a decision in the board, it was a decision right from the grassroots, those who are playing. And every Saturday we play, Monday we have a meeting with referees and club managers, and there were no problem at all. Even though we didn't have funding, but unity was there.
I was here with Chairman Mr. Tommy Finau. We were running the organization with no money, with no funds, so it was hard. We were struggling a lot from 2000 to 2005. There was no funds coming from Australia, so we had to, all the teams that were prepared here in Fiji, especially the Fiji budget team, and Mr. Tengpo, the late Mr. Tengpo was here with Mr. Chairman Musnamasi. They go and mortgage their house just to pay for the uniforms, the jumpers, just want the team to go for the national team. So from all these years now, we can see all the two gentlemen sacrificing for the sports.
At one point when we were camping in Nandera for the national team, we requested clubs to come in and if they could help in catering for the players. So while everybody contributed, the clubs came in and said, oh yeah, we'll take 3 meals each. So each club was given breakfast, lunch and dinner.
I remember we couldn't pay referees. So we board members, myself, even Tommy was my deputy at one stage, we had to run in as referees. We had to ref the game and just try to keep it alive.
Don't get paid for training or for playing. It's just having fun because for me, I love rugby league. My whole heart, I love rugby league, and that's why I did that. And yeah, it's a hard time, and used to sleep in the hall, eating where we're sleeping.
One time I had to go make a loan. Make a loan to buy uniforms for our national team. Yeah, it's crazy. That's how passionate we were at that time. And now I wish Tangi Tupo is still here and see where we are. It's quite emotional, actually. And I mean, some of the time, boys had to come in and camp at my place, at the national team. We couldn't afford to put the team in camp.
start of Rugby League is quite an interesting one for us. Something that did not happen overnight. It actually, as a matter of fact, it took us a year and a half to follow Rugby League and to make that decision in September 2006, on the 26th of September, to sponsor Rugby League. We saw the way they were performing without major partnership. We saw the way they were organizing the tournaments without what I can say, sufficient sponsorship. And this is one organization that continued to perform despite all the challenges and all. I mean, if you look at the history of Fiji National Rugby League, they're probably one of the few organizations that continue to send teams, national teams for that matter, to international exposure despite the difficulties they face. And that itself speaks for the organizing committee and those that are in the organization.
And we were only looking for something like $10,000 to $50,000 because we didn't have any sponsor, and we just told Vodafone, if you come to us, we'll give you everything we have, because we have nothing. So when on the particular day, I went up to Linga, and Linga said, Obi, because we went to the same school, we'll sponsor you for the next 3 years, and he gave us a value. For a moment, I was looking out the window, and he was looking at me, and then he said, "Oh, what happened?" And he said, "No, you don't realize how much what you've just said means to us, because it's been a long struggle, and people have used their own personal money and have gone through difficult times with families just because of something we love and believe in, and we've always stuck to it. We've never wavered."
When we saw the tournament they were holding, when we saw the event, and even the games, the tournament that they're winning, we thought, why not? With the minimal support, they managed to reach semi-final and final capabilities. One can only imagine when they get support. And it was one decision that they didn't let us down. 2006, we sponsored the Fiji National Rugby League team. 2008, we were the first fully bodied team to reach a semi-final in a World Cup in Australia. So 2 years in the making of partnership. Up until today, the achievement of Fiji Mbati has been nothing but an amazing partnership for Vodafone.
Our chairman, Penny Mustamasi, offered one of his flats below his house for us to use an office as a storeroom as well. So we used to operate from there. In 2000, after the 2008 World Cup, we received some funding from the Rugby League World Cup, Rugby League International Federation, to restart an office. So the former GM, Mr. Steve McLean, felt it would be best for our profile in administration purposes that we move to a better office, and with the help of the patron then, Rajesh Singh, we were able to secure this office from government, from the PSC, and we're currently renting.
I'm very happy at the way it has grown. I'm not surprised. I had a lot of confidence right from the beginning, and I have a lot of respect for the administrators now. They are not high-profile people like we see in the rugby union, but they are in a much better position than the rugby union is. I am in rugby union. I'm a trustee of the rugby union.
The celebrations will be emotional ones if they cross.
Still having the sports live, still continuing, even though difficulties and hard times. That was our biggest achievement, is to keep on the sports alive here in Fiji. So I think if it died and then we try and restart again, it was quite difficult.
In 2006, we had only 12 clubs. Now we have around 12 clubs and around 12 teams in the Premier Grade and some junior teams. Now we're looking at around 39 clubs to 49 clubs in the competition, and around 96 teams Fiji-wide. We have, before we used to have only the East and the West conference. Now we have in zones, there's around 6 zones at this time. We are in Ra, Lautoka, Nandi, Singotoka, Nasinu and so.
It's always on the back of my mind is to have the secondary school competition, you know. When we have the 2006, the sponsorship came in 2006 from Waterfall. We took $20,000 out of the sponsorship and put it directly to the secondary school competition.
Jared Hayes been playing at a lot of second receivers so far this afternoon for the Fijians. Here is Nguama looking for his man,
We've gone through a long way from where we are in 2006. We're quite successful now that our chairman is well regarded in the Rugby League International Federation. He went up to being a board member of the Rugby League International Federation because he was the chairman of the Asia Pacific Rugby League. So that's quite an achievement for us. Regarding awards, the Vodafone Fiji party to the 2008 World Cup won the Team of the Year at the Sports Awards, and also the chairman and I won awards at the Fasanok Awards night. Chairman is the Administrator of the Year and myself as the Volunteer of the Year. So that is quite an achievement for us, and we're still progressing. I believe Joe too won the Coach of the Year for his contribution to the 2008 Rugby League World Cup.
So many other young players coming through now, which is fantastic. I always look back at it with a lot of pride. Great to see that, you know, young men, Sisa Wanga, Marika Korimbete and Quila Uate are competing in the toughest rugby league in the world as professionals. And you look at rugby league here, very small player base. So the talent is here, and these guys are amazing.
We were there at one time, right up there with Super League, with the amount of funding and support that we got. And then we lost it all just like that. And then we had to start again from zero to bring it back to where we are today. And what we are doing today is we need to invest and put aside something to invest in the future. We're looking at our grounds. We've got an office now. We need to go into property investment. We need to look at tangible benefits for our members, the players, the unemployed youths, for those who get involved in rugby league, to add value, that the sport add values to their lives when they leave the sport.
And that was the show for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, but be sure to join us again next Monday at 8 p.m. as we look back on Fiji's first Rugby League World Cup appearance in 1995. For your comments and suggestions, you can email us. Until then, have a great week.